Part of New York, where Megadeth are going to be playing live a little bit later on. A bit of a Halloween theme going on here. And as you can see, I've got Dave and Dave with me now, and we're going to talk a little bit more about the album. And my first question to Dave M is, I asked actually Dave Ellefson this a little bit earlier, but I'd like your perspective on it. You know, as I've said to you before, I think that you kind of put a lot of pressure on yourself to always give 100% and always to be at your best. And I was wondering, how difficult was it for you to kind of relinquish the reins of Megadeth a little bit for Euthanasia and to allow it to be more of a group effort?
I never relinquished anything. These guys just finally started giving 100%.
Right. But, you know, also it's kind of like you've always had the main say in everything.
I still do.
Right. But now everybody can contribute their ideas.
Yeah. It's like, I mean, if you ask any one of them, I'm sure they'll say it's my band, depending on who they're talking to. You know, Nick will say it's my band, Marty will say it's my band, Junior will say it's my band, I'll say it's my band, but, you know, it's definitely a group process.
So when they say that, you don't mind them saying that kind of thing?
I care less.
Good. Well, that's the way it should be, isn't it? Now, I'd also like to actually concentrate on the song À tout le monde, which, as you know, is one of my favourites on the album. And when I first heard it, I actually thought it was about suicide. But in fact, it's done from a slightly different perspective than that, isn't it?
No, it's not about actually killing yourself, but it is about passing on. It's about having an opportunity to come back from the dead and what you would want to say. If you know, when the things are left unsaid when someone dies, it's so obvious to me that you don't ever leave someone in a bad mood. You don't ever hang up on somebody. You don't go to sleep with someone that you're mad at, you know. Because the things that are left unsaid, if you're in a fight with someone and they walk away and you don't settle it, you may never see them again.
That's right.
And I think with Tout le monde, what it says is that, you know, if I had to say the last thing, and this was what I wanted to say, I would say to the world, to all my friends, I love you all. Now I have to go. I wouldn't want to say, oh, I'm sorry, because I'm not sorry for nothing. I would like to say, you know, that I love you all.
So the moral really is to always finish on a good note with somebody rather than a bad note.
Right.
Yeah. How did you come up with the idea of this French chorus? Who was responsible for that?
I think it was Paul and John.
Paul and John? Who's
McCartney and Lennon with Michelle.
That's quite an unusual thing, particularly in like a heavy metal song, isn't it?
Well, we thought about doing it in Hebrew, but Marty wasn't going to do it, so we thought about doing a couple of different languages, and Spanish was the obvious one outside of French, and the Spanish one just didn't happen. I kept thinking it would be too synonymous with what David Lee Roth did with his solo project, and granted, we both have the same names, but we're definitely totally two different people, and I don't want to do anything like what he does. And we were also going to do Japanese and German, and the German kind of sounded a bit too hard, you know, not difficult, but hard, like kind of abrasive. And the Japanese, there's two different genders, and you know, the last...
It's getting complicated.
yeah, so the French, you know, I mean, it's like, you can't go wrong.
No, it's a very nice language as well, and works well in the song, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So, I mean, the songs that struck a chord with me are À tout le monde, as I said, and also I really like Addicted to Chaos. Which song on the album kind of has really struck a chord with you, Dave?
Probably the last one we just played, Victory.
Yeah.
Every time, whatever the last one I heard is, it's like, God, I really like that. You know, at our party that we had in London a couple weeks ago there at the castle, it was kind of the same thing. It's like all night they'd throw in a new song of ours, you know, like, yeah, that really sounds good. And they play Blood of Heroes, and they play Train of Consequences, so it always changes for me.
Oh, that's great if that happens, that every time you hear a song you think that's great. Okay, well, we're going to turn the clock back again to have a look at another Megadeth video from years past, and in fact we're only going back a couple of years because we're going to have a look at a track from 1992's Countdown to Extinction album, and a very, very innovative metal video this is too. It's Megadeth with Sweating Bullets. First live performance of the new material from Euthanasia, and we are going to be seeing the band live a little bit later on, and I've got Dave and Marty joining me here at the MTV America Halloween party, and you can see all the festivities going on there in the background. It's a really fun party. Now guys, as I said, the first time that you're performing new material live, first time for that, I'm just wondering, You know, what's this concert going to be like for you? Because there's going to be cameras there, and it's a little bit different from a regular gig. Is it even more nerve-wracking?
You know what? American people always look like this, so we're used to that.
Right. In fact, we're not really even Dave and Marty. We're just like dressed up like them. It's Halloween.
Marty's a lot taller than this.
Well, you've got the same lovely hair as Marty. So no, seriously, is this a very nerve-wracking thing for you to be playing the material for the first time?
Not really. I mean, we have no idea what it's going to be like. You should ask us in about 2 hours. We'll know, you know, after we do the gig. But, I mean, thank you. Yeah. A lot of people dressed up like Megadeth fans here.
Yeah. Lots of T-shirts in the background. Very enthusiastic. So how do you think the new material is going to work out in the live environment?
Ask them what they think.
What do you think of the new album? Killer, man! Killer! So, I mean, seriously, expectations of playing it live, is it more complicated than other material?
No, actually, you know, we kept in mind as we wrote the music what it was going to sound like live, and it's actually probably the most challenging for us because we haven't played it over and over for the last couple of years.
It's going to be very fresh.
Yeah, it's exciting tonight. You know, it's like, yeah, okay, we'll like, you know, get through these but it's a good variety of stuff. I mean, there's a lot of older material in there as well, so it's you know. We just started rehearsing just like a week ago, you know, that was when it was nerve-wracking. When we got on stage yesterday for sound check here, and we sound checked again today, it was like, oh yeah, that's right. We haven't done a gig in a year. This is what it's like. Yeah, so it feels good again. It's great.
And of course, Marty, you jammed a lot of material anyway in the songwriting process and in the studio. You played a lot of it very much with the live environment in mind, didn't you?
Yeah. Well, the thing is, we always put these high-pressure gigs at the beginning of the tour. I don't know why we do it. I guess it's kind of a raw thing, because, you know, there's going to be some little crazy things happening, maybe mistakes, maybe little imperfections, because we got that edge. We're a little bit nervous, we're a little bit shaky, but you know what, we always do that at the beginning, you know, and it's just something that comes out that it wouldn't happen if we were on tour for 12 months. I don't know what's going to happen tonight. That's what adds to the excitement for me.
Very, very exciting. It's a great vibe down here at the party.
Yeah.
Now, I want to talk about the song The Killing Road, because that is a lot to do about your feelings of being actually out on tour, you know, these lots and lots of dates in a row.
That's why we're not playing it tonight, because we're not on tour yet. We'll be able to play it tomorrow night, though. Actually, you know what, that song gets misunderstood a lot. A lot of people think we're really down on the road, and it's not true. We love it.
Yeah.
It's just those 2 hours that we play on stage that are just great, but it's the other, you know, however many hours in a day, 22, that we're just like, wow, man, what are we doing in the middle of nowhere? But we remember what we're in it for once we get on stage.
They're the best 2 hours of the day, because a lot of people think it's very kind of glamorous and rock and roll being out on the road, but there's a lot of stress as well, and a lot of hanging about and so on as well.
Call me from Kentucky and ask me how glamorous it is.
Well, Cleveland, Ohio, maybe.
Oh, they rock
Anyway, we're going to talk to the guys some more, but we have to go into another commercial break right now. But let me tell you, we've got something very special coming to you right now from the MTV America Halloween party. We're going to show you, for the first time anywhere in the world, Megadeth performing new material from their Euthanasia album. This is exclusive to MTV. Check out Megadeth live. I think you're going to enjoy it.
The way that I make you itch, well, no reasons I can beat you, bitch, and I make you wanna scream in pain. You feel like rainy day. Here comes back rainy day. Here it comes. It's coming to get ya.
Euthanasia album, and of course bringing you exclusive live performances. Few more moments to talk now to the guys. I've got David and Marty still with me, and just to finish up with, I've got that all-important question which everybody out there in Europe is going to want to know the answer to, and that is, when can we expect Megadeth to be touring in Europe?
Well,
Oh,
it looks like at this point probably early spring of '95. And I can't even say for sure because we're still working on putting that together right now. So that's actually we just found out we're going to be playing at in Berlin.
Yes, I wanted to mention that.
Right. Okay, you can mention that then.
Well, that's at the European Music Awards.
Right.
That's happening next week for you. And Megadeth are going to be playing live at the, I think it's the Marquee Club in Berlin as part of the European Music Awards Club Tour. And in fact, in next week's show, which I'm going to tell you a bit more about later on, we are going to be bringing you some coverage of Megadeth and their day at the European Music Awards. So more Megadeth next week. But just to finish off with, any ideas about the staging and production that you're going to be using? Any unusual ideas coming in?
Well, it'll be nothing like the stage we're playing on tonight. You know what, we can't really say anything about that because, you know, we're always changing things like that around, and then if we say we're going to do something, by the time we get out to England and do it, it'll be something else. So all I know is it's going to be very different, and we're brainstorming right now about that.
Yeah, everything really is in the planning stage. I mean, we've learned not to like go, oh yeah, we're going to do this and we're going to do that, because then unbeknownst to us, things like that seem to always change. So, you know, as far as tour dates, they'll probably be rolling across your screen soon enough.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
You'll be able to check them out on Headbangers Ball as and when they're available. So all that remains for me to do tonight is to say thank you very much to all you guys for having us down here at the Halloween party. And, you know, it's been a great pleasure for me to talk to you. And I know we're going to hook up again with you in Berlin also, and also on the European tour when it happens. So many thanks to you, and good luck with the new Euthanasia album. I'm very excited about that. I think it's going to do really, really well. So we're going to have to let these guys go now. As I said, many thanks to the band, and you're going to be seeing a lot more of Megadeth on Headbangers Ball and MTV. And we're going to finish tonight with the best way we can, and we're going to show you some more Megadeth live. New material coming at you from the party in New York City. I'll be along after that just to remind you about what's happening on next week's show. But for tonight, I'm just going to say goodnight to these guys, and we'll just finish now with Megadeth live. Thanks.
See ya.
Was a game. More seriously I took things, the harder the rules became. Oh, I had no idea what it cost. My life passed before my eyes. I found out how little I accomplished. All my plans denied. ever speak. Set me free. If my heart was still alive, I know it would surely break. And my memories left with you. There's nothing more to say. Moving on, it's a simple thing. What it leaves behind is hard. You know the sleeping don't know my pain. And living while I'm gone. I do the moon, I do as I mean. Them did what but you. These are the last words I'll ever speak. Set me free.
Okay, that